today I'm going to talk about the Millennium Scorpius. Today I have 4 Scorps, 2 in Serious Plastic that are Gregg Barsby World Champion bottom stamp. Serious Plastic is more like Star from Innova. I have this one, which has been in my bag a while. It's a little beat up. It is Quantum Plastic, which is more like Champion from Innova. And I have this red one, which has also been in my bag for a minute, which is Millennium Plastic, more like Pro from Innova. We'll get right into the flight videos. Here, we'll start with me throwing them on a Hyzer release. First up is the orange Serious Scorp. As you can see, this one is a little bit less overstable. It holds that Hyzer line for a long time, pops up to flat before it eventually fades out. You can see that in both these videos, and they go a really, really long way. The next one is the yellow Serious Scorpius, and this one is a little bit heavier. As you can see, this one is a little bit less overstable than the orange one. It didn't travel quite as far, about 40 feet less, and I don't think it really has the same amount of glide as the orange one. Next up is the red Millennium Scorpius. Now, when this one's thrown on Hyzer, it really likes to go straight. It goes straighter for longer than either of the other ones. It doesn't have quite the same amount of turn as the orange Serious one did, but it's also not nearly as overstable as the yellow one. Next up is the orange Quantum Scorpius. It is 175 gram. This one is a little bit more overstable than either the Serious or the Millennium Plastic. It doesn't have quite as much glide, and it really will hold a Hyzer angle very, very well, and really fights to get towards the ground. Now we're going to throw the same discs but on anhyzer angles. The orange Serious Scorp really shines on these anhyzer angles because it's probably the flippiest of the bunch. It will hold the anhyzer and go and go and go. This one's really unfortunate I couldn't get a distance for you because it smacked probably the biggest tree in the entire park. It took a lot of effort to get this yellow Scorpius to fly on an anhyzer angle because it's the most overstable of all of them. But if I really committed to getting it over, it would go for quite a ways. But the thing about these Serious Scorps is no matter how flippy they are, they will fight out of it at the end. Very predictable. Now this red Scorpius, the Millennium one, I only got one good video and it was pretty nose up, so there's not a ton to be gained from this, but if you really commit to getting it over, it will definitely fly on anhyzer for you. The Quantum one, when thrown on anhyzer, really shows that it doesn't have a ton of glide because it was very much the fastest one that wanted to fade out. I was still able to get a pretty good amount of distance out of these, but it took a lot more effort than any of the other ones. There's only 2 of these that I will actually throw sidearm, the Quantum one and the yellow Serious one, and that is because they're more overstable and don't have the same amount of glide as the other ones, so they handle the superior torque that a sidearm puts on a disc better than the other ones do. I was able to get the yellow Serious Scorp out a pretty long ways for sidearm. I usually don't throw things that far sidearm, so it was really nice to see those go a long way. The Scorpius has a flight numbers of 12, 5, -1, and 3, which is the same as a destroyer from Innova. However, the Scorpius is probably better for people with slower arm speeds, newer players, people who are just graduating to overstable distance drivers, because a lot of people, even really good pros, can't throw a destroyer the way it's supposed to fly. This is a little bit less stable. It'll give you more of an opportunity to get the style flight that you see guys like Ricky and Calvin get from a destroyer. In Millennium Plastic, the Scorpius is a little bit less overstable than in the Quantum or the Serious. It's not quite as understable as those either. It'll give you more of a straighter flight. In Quantum Plastic, which is my personal favorite, the Scorpius doesn't have quite the same amount of glide. It's a little bit more overstable. The same type of thing you see in most of these clear premium plastics, whether it's from Innova, Discraft, whatever, all the same type plastic like this, will be a little bit less glidey, a little bit more overstable. This disc is really good for sidearms, really good for backhand Hyzers. It's a fantastic disc that I highly recommend. Now, in serious plastic, this is the Scorpius that's going to be your bomber. These have the most glide and start out the most overstable, but beat up pretty fast, faster than most of this type of premium plastic, so Star or anything else. It'll beat up, not beat up, beat in a little bit faster than those. Now I want to shout out Gregg Barsby, world champ. He's the one who got me to start throwing these discs. Not that I know him, but I watch him. I really like watching him, and he throws these in place of destroyers. And so I figured it might be a good idea for me to try. And these have added a whole new level to my game. These serious ones will go very, very far. The quantum ones, not as far, more predictable. And the Millennium plastic is very good if you're looking for a cheaper or a little less stable option.